Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Only Football, or Two Guys, One Camera.
Can you stop calling it that?
that's where we're at. No, why am I putting this so far away? How you doing? I ask you this every week. Honestly, you just get more and more somber.
It's just worse and worse as the season goes along, but, hanging in there. I think I just disconnected. It wasn't good. We have one of the students from Spain this time now.
And explain.
My parents house international students, so there's a 15-year-old from Spain, Barcelona, obviously Barcelona fan. But second favorite team is Juve, surprisingly.
Okay.
I was over there Saturday night. We did a games night. We were leaving. He was, I got to get to bed. I'm going to wake up early to watch a Juve Monza game. And I'm like, I'm not even going to watch it.
Don't do that.
I'm like, it's going to be a tie. I already said it's already going to be a draw. Don't wake up early and suffer. And he's like, no, I think they'll win. And you know what? He gave me inspiration to wake up and watch too. And as soon as I turn it on, 5 minutes later, Di Maria gets a red. I'm like, yep, this is exactly why I don't watch. And they go on losing.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to them in a second. We're going to do, a little review of the matches on the weekend. And then we're going to talk about some managers, including, obviously, Allegri, who could be in trouble here and could be facing the sack. And then we're going to wrap up with our thoughts on the Canada squad and primarily the England squad going into this international break. And, what, especially for England, what it could mean in terms of what Ole Gunnar Southgate is thinking for the World Cup in November. Late November. So we'll get back to Juve in a second. Let's quickly talk about Arsenal.
What is the Premier League in general, right?
It's what about everything? Udinese? I mean, like Union Berlin. What's happening here? It's really something.
I think it should have been expected though. A lot of with the World Cup being in the middle of the season, it's like some teams might have to rotate players more just to not overuse players that, certain international managers don't want them burning out. But at the same time, they need to play more games to impress for the final call-up, right? But sure. You're seeing a lot of, I guess, close races and not a lot of teams pull away in the league so far besides like Real. But even Real has Barca right behind
Barca's right on their ass, yeah. Actually, quickly, this is kind of relevant just for me. Who won PSG Lyon?
Oh, PSG.
What was the score?
1-0.
No?
Yeah. This past weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They played Lyon.
Yeah.
And I think a little 1-2-1, right?
They did. Jonathan David's up to a ripping start.
Yes. He needs to leave.
And, well, if it could be January, like, what? Well, I mean, if you think
it'd be better for him.
Right after the World Cup, again, it's like, people love to make signs after, people turn down like 30 to 40 million for him. Big teams, this summer. And he stayed at Lille. It was about 30 to 40, I think. Wow. And like teams.
Did they get him for 35?
Yeah, they're
about. He hasn't got on. And
I was hearing Romano was saying 30 to 40.
Oh.
And they, no one really came in for it, and maybe Lille wouldn't have sold that, but that was the price being rumored. And now it's like he keeps this up and he has a decent World Cup.
Up to 50.
Yeah, well, I think he's probably at 50 now. If he maintains this, he's definitely. I think he's at 50 for sure.
Well, yeah, especially if he has a good World Cup.
Yeah.
There we go. Just in case.
Oh yes.
Just in case.
I asked you, are you sure though?
Am I sure about what?
Ending the stream. Anyway. Okay, so Arsenal though, off to a great start. I bullishly, TJ, a friend of ours in the LAFC, works at the Only Arsenal fan. Bullishly, I gave him 10-1 odds. Arsenal would win the league on $100. So if they win the league, I owe him $1,000. But I expect to be collecting by. Bless you. Back again. I expect to be collecting by. No, I won't go that far. End of March.
End of March,
I think.
End of March, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a long season still, and with the World Cup, it's even longer.
Yeah.
And I think Pep said it best. The league isn't going to be won in the first half, but it could be lost. So that was the approach.
Was that a dig at Liverpool? That's what it sounded like.
No, he said that before the season.
Okay.
He said it, to be fair, before.
Yeah.
So I think, although they had, one tie or two ties?
They have two ties.
Two ties.
Yeah.
They're still in the hunt, right? So it's...
In the hunt. Of course, City's in the hunt.
Oh, yeah, they're always in the hunt, but it's like good for them that they're like
No,
they're at the top and
yeah.
not where like Chelsea and Liverpool are. And they may have lost the season already, those two teams, which is unfortunate because we wanted to see a close race in some sort for either the top or for the Champions League spot like we did last year to the last week. I want it coming down to the last week.
Yeah, it's not with Arsenal. I can have that.
Hey, but look back a year and the
Spurs Spurs take it there. And you know what? Conte loves the league, so we'll see what happens. And we'll get to them in a second. Arsenal, though, amazing start.
Can't complain.
Not at all, not in the least. And Brentford's they're sticky. They're a sticky squad.
Especially
on the road,
at home,
yeah. And on the road to Brentford, and they really just took it to them like from the get go. It was already 2-0 time, but Vieira's goal.
Vieira's goal was nice.
That was great. It was
like a surprise shot. He caught the goalie kind of flat-footed and
a little bit, but right off the inside of the post too.
Good
beautiful,
strike.
Beautiful Saka, coming good. I used my free hit and actually paid off.
2 assists.
2 assists, yeah.
That was a nice header by Saliba.
It's a great header.
All 3 goals were pretty nice.
I didn't pick him up.
Really nice. All 3 goals. Saka with a great ball to Gabriel Jesus for the second as well.
Yep.
And he's having a great year too.
Who?
Xhaka. Granted.
Yeah. I know. He's having a good year.
Really good year.
I know.
And he's their best midfielder, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. And yeah, he stayed. It always last January. It was just like he's trying
to.
Was he
rumored in Napoli or not Napoli?
He was going back to Germany for sure. I want to say it was Gladbach.
Oh, sorry, it was Mourinho. Mourinho wanted him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Roma was one for sure. That was the summer though. Last January too. It was supposed to be somewhere in Germany. He came from Gladbach. He might have been it might have been going back to Gladbach as well though. But yeah, and listen, I wouldn't get carried away on that if I'm an Arsenal fan. Like you got to demand more and more consistency
from him.
Yeah, of course.
From everybody because they're only as good as how consistent they are.
Well,
they've shown that they can be the best, but how many weeks can they show that?
Yeah, I'm just using Xhaka specifically.
Oh.
You can't. I wouldn't be forgiving him as an Arsenal fan for
all the Reds he's taken,
everything he's done over the course of his Arsenal tenure, based on the beginning of the season. It's the same for the last few matches with McTominay, who's actually looked decent.
That's a different. Xhaka and McTominay are different levels.
They are absolutely. I'm just saying, like, I couldn't agree more. But it's just like you can't just be like, oh, 2 games, like.
Every game this season.
I'm talking about McTominay. There are some McTominay, but it's that's 7 matches in, right? So that's
so good sample size.
It is absolutely. I wish also quickly I got to watch some Eredivisie on the weekend. Like those games were they were so delicious. PSV at home to Alkmaar. And then Feyenoord. Or no, that was Feyenoord, and then Feyenoord.
That was 4-3 PSV Feyenoord, right?
Yeah, and then AZ beating Ajax 2-1.
2-1.
Too bad.
Those good matchups.
Yeah, great. And you know what? That's a league that I would like. I want people to get. I really do. I want to watch that league. There's so much good young talent. I love watching Liga because of that. Yeah. And it's the exact same thing there. And there's a little. I mean, yes, if Louis Campos not on PSG, someone else might win Liga, but now that he's not, it's done. It's done. Okay, on to Arsenal Spurs Leicester, and a lot of headlines in this one. For me, Son rightfully so as getting benched. I was calling that for like 2 weeks. Conte gave him a long lead,
and came back and did
he?
Yeah, after the second goal.
Did he actually?
Yeah,
oh wow, I didn't take that in.
Could have squared if it came for the last goal, but he's already on 2.
You're up 5-2.
Yeah, you got to shoot.
You're up 5-2. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
And they, besides we all know what Conte is in the Champions League or Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Not the same. He's a league-driven manager. I think everyone has.
Yeah, you pointed that out to me like years ago. And okay.
I still don't see him doing a lot in Champions League.
Sure.
But yeah, in the league, he's a league manager. They're up there with City, right behind Arsenal.
Yeah, look what he did with Chelsea.
Yeah, and they're looking good. If they keep, they will need to add more depth in January to stay up top. If they really consider, going after the league and having a chance, and they have to perform against the big boys at the end, but. other than that, for what they did in the transfer window, it was pretty good.
It was. They
For
need a
them.
defender.
For them, they still need one. Yes,
They need a defender. Eric Dyer's also someone who's having a good year.
yes.
He's for me one of like my most heavily slated players for years, pretty much since he started.
Is he? No,
He's Dyer's what?
Oh, yeah,
England?
he is.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We'll get to England there, Mike. That was never in doubt. Dude, they have 40 defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you think Eric Dyer's not making it? Come on, he's having a great year. He is having a great year. It's a nice goal too, but Leicester, my goodness, man,
Are awful.
They're absolutely atrocious, and the will is just not there. Spurs first 3 corners they scored off, except the third one was called back for a foul by Sanchez on Ward. And honestly, when I was watching it live, correct me if I'm wrong. I will try to watch it back. But when I was watching live, he does make contact. I'm like, okay, yeah, you can call that a foul. But I think if Sanchez is honestly just there and like making a jump and doesn't touch him, I think Ward completely misjudged it. And I think would have gone off Ndidi anyway.
I didn't see I only saw the goals. I was like, there's 8 goals. I'm not gonna watch the actual highlights. I'm just gonna watch the short middle one. So I didn't see that disallowed goal. But
that was off the third corner, and they'd score off the first 2.
I feel bad because the first game of the season, Leicester were up 2-0 against Brentford at home, and they blew it.
Yeah.
Do you think that game was good? Like, if they hold on to the win, they're not as bad as they are now, or are they still this bad?
Possibly. I can see it. I can see it because you know what? That just I need to look into what is going on with that club because the Leicester fans, like their ownership, like the son took over for the father. Correct?
Yes.
And the Leicester fans have always been very happy with them. So I don't know what's going on there in terms of their finances, but something's wrong.
Yes,
big time. They didn't buy anyone.
Well, they bought someone on the very last.
Yeah. The guy from Reims.
Yeah.
The defender. But that's it.
And
that's it. And back to your point with that first match, it's like you gotta think things are just the mood's on the floor a little bit at that time as it is, and then you blow that, and it's like fuck.
It's like if we had subs, if we brought in players to sub in, like we could have held out this match, right? Mm-hmm. We're up 2-0 in the second half, and it's kind of like, okay, well, this is who we're gonna be, I guess. We didn't go and get someone, didn't have new players come in and force competition in the squad in preseason training camp, anything. So everyone's spot kind of felt safe in a way. Although there's
complacency, disgruntled players too, though. Like how happy are the likes of Tielemans, who is not going to resign. Who wanted to go is not going to resign. There's no way.
There's no way.
Madison, who's had problems with. James Madison's a very charming man to me. See him in interviews. He's great. Is he? But he's had problems with Brendan Rodgers.
Yes.
And Brendan Rodgers apparently was rumored to have quite a big ego, from what I've heard. I don't know. I can't give you specific examples. I'm sure something with that came out when he and Madison had a huge fallout. Was it 2 seasons ago now? It might be 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, it was 2.
There's problems there. There's lots of problems. Players losing form, and Didi's now he's even healthy now, but he's lost form. Soyuncu was falling off a cliff last season.
He's not even playing this year.
No. Yeah. Vestergaard, you bought Vestergaard. He's barely touched the field. Yeah. Barely even touched the field since he's been there.
That was a bad move for him now, looking back.
Well, I mean, yeah, he never broke into that squad whatsoever. At the time, it was like, hey, Leicester made some moves, They brought in Samare, they brought in Vestergaard to bolster up that defense. It's bad, but
is attacking the only problem? The only solution now?
I see going into that Spurs match, I thought to myself, if they're gonna lose, they're gonna lose that match, but if it can be respectable, he won't get fired until the next match.
He'll survive the international break.
But now it's the international break too.
Now's the time to do it.
Now's the time. And it's Monday night, and he's still there. If he's not fired by Wednesday, he's staying.
I would have to agree. It should have been done by now.
Any names that come up? For me, I think I have the perfect one.
Poch?
Yes.
No, he wouldn't accept that though.
Why wouldn't he?
He wouldn't,
he needs to.
He wouldn't accept that.
I think he knows now that's the level he's getting.
No,
Absolutely.
If his name's still being flirted around, because he's being flirted around with Juve. I'll tell you that right
now.
I'll tell you right now. So
Leicester, Juve.
So he still thinks I'm being linked to top clubs. There's no way I can accept this. Because if I accept this, there's no way back up.
Juve. Right? I don't mind Juve for him either, actually.
No. I don't know.
You don't want him. You don't want him?
The best name left is Tuchel.
You take Tuchel over Poch?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me too. Although,
but you know what? The thing is, man, my eye's been really cheap. You sneezing?
We'll get to Juve for that, but
yes,
for Leicester, it would have to be
Sean Dyche.
No, that's a very good upgrade for Sean Dyche.
That's I would love it. I want him back. I love Sean Dyche.
Smash and grab football with Leicester.
With some good players.
yeah. Madison.
Could you imagine?
Patson Daka. No, they would get frustrated. They would Vardy would not be about.
But maybe Sean Dyche just needed more resources. Maybe he was a Burnley man through and through, but they let him go. It's like maybe he was holding back because he didn't have the players there.
No, you could do better. You could do better.
What? Who could do better? Like
Leicester.
Oh, okay.
Leicester,
Yeah.
Of course. But so you think he should stay? So how do you solve what's going on if he stays?
Who? Rodgers?
Yeah.
I don't think he should stay.
Oh, okay. You think?
I think they should. I think they should fire him. I think it's time. It is time, but at the same time, they haven't had the financial backing.
So whoever comes in would need financial backing.
Absolutely. So I do want to look into that, and I'll try to do that for next episode. Maybe if I do one later in the week, just have a breakdown of what's going on there, and maybe that's why he's on a little bit of a longer lead. But they were starting to slip last year too. They weren't great last year as well.
Yes. They were mid-table, but we thought there would be a rebound year.
Mm-hmm.
But with no signings, we should have seen no way there could be a rebounding year. But they have.
That's the thing. There's enough talent in that team that they should be doing better than this. They absolutely should be. So I think he does have to go. I think it's time. And then for Brendan Rodgers,
I think you got to leave England and probably get like
the Juve job.
No. Relax. I would say like a mid-table.
Germany. I think Germany would suit him.
I was thinking.
I think it would suit him.
What's mid-table there?
Look what when Leicester was good, and obviously Celtic, but like they were banging goals in like when they were performing under him.
Yes.
They were lethal. And I think that like the Bundesliga is, I think the league that would probably suit him.
That's what I was. You would have to. There's no big teams that you can go to.
You never know, man. Remember just 2 summers ago, going into last season, there was that merry-go-round in the Bundesliga. It was so weird.
Yes, it was.
Gladbach, Wolfsburg, Frankfurt.
Yes.
I think maybe fourth.
So
anyway, that's. Yeah, I think it might have been. But so I'm gonna say he's gone. Who would you bring in? Let's speculate though. Who would be your guy to bring in to replace him? Genuinely,
I think you would have to go someone like up and coming at that point.
Well, but Leicester's good for that too, right? General managerial wise, not really actually. No, you think about Leicester's managers, like Claude Puel was like the one manager since Ranieri, and Ranieri was not up and coming at all.
No, but he was a big name for them at the time.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
so for sure. But it's like they haven't really gone for like the up and comer. Even Claude Puel was very stale. The fans didn't like him at all. They didn't like the football under him whatsoever. I'll have to mull that over. I don't want to get stuck on it. You can take a look. Quickly, just to mention Bayern. I don't think there's really any reason to get too hung up on this. Obviously, terrible league form. They sit 5th, I believe, in the league. 5 points behind Union Berlin in first. And after winning the first 3 matches by a combined, I think, 13 goals, or 14, I think, 14 goals, because I think the goal differential is 13. Plus 13. It's the best in the league, and they've drawn 3 straight, and they've lost now on the weekend to Augsburg, who played them very tight last year as well, splitting it and only losing 1-0 themselves against Bayern. Any panic stations?
No.
There's been reassurances.
No wins in the last 4. It's very un-Bayern-like, but there's no panic.
But what did we say last week? What did we say last week before Barcelona? We said they're struggling in the league, but what's their focus right now? They're in the toughest league group, in the Champions League. You got to win this. They won this.
But they're still playing the guys that should win them games in the league.
You're right.
Not like they're over-rotating.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
But it's also like getting used to life without Lewandowski. You can't just replace him with Mane. Mane's not the same type of player, like the type of finisher. He's more of a creator that can finish every now and then. So they don't really have a recognized finisher, and their style of play has always been set with finishing. And same with Nagelsmann. He had what's him call it, Werner, when he was at RB. Like he was the recognized finisher, and he doesn't really have that now. Even the last year with Lewandowski, the 1 year he had 50 goals, right? And that everyone knew their role and played within it. Now they have to find, 6, 7 goals from 5, 6 different players,
which they did in like one of their first 3, 4 the first match I think against Frankfurt. I think they had 5 or 6 different goal scorers.
But it's gonna take some time. They are a good enough team to
run that league, exactly, and just going on a huge run. So and I'm not even worried about it.
For me,
Nagelsmann, he's great.
He's a good coach. You got to give him time. But every coach is going to go through a slump, and can he get out of it? If this is continuing,
you know what? That's what you do. If you're Leicester, you just wait for Nagelsmann. To get axed in the next month.
You're really stretching it. You're really stretching this. Hey, I don't know, like with the managers available, Leicester, like as you can see.
Let's hear Benitez, first name that is.
Gunnar Solskjaer. Would that be a good role for him?
What was I listening to?
Oh, don't tell me he's linked to someone.
No, that's the thing. Is that of like all the interviews, whoever's coming out anywhere, like anyone wasn't
Solskjaer is never offered.
Never.
Bielsa. But could they?
Can you do Bielsa halfway through the season? He runs you into the ground. Yeah. Can you play that style halfway through? It's like Ranić last year. It's like Ranić coming in after playing stodgy ollie ball for so long, and Ranić not being able to play the way he wanted to play. Just be a quality and also fitness.
So maybe would a World Cup firing for Rodgers be best for
Leicester?
Yes, that way you still get like a month because most of those players won't be going to World Cup, right?
Right.
Only Tielemans probably.
Maybe Madison, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, maybe. I doubt it.
You can't only have 5 midfielders. We'll get to that. Anyway, you know what? We'll come back.
Come back to this.
We'll do it. We'll think about it. Because
I think it's both.
This time next week, or I'm going to do an episode later on the week. If you can come, you can come. It could be already done. But I think my Wednesday. My Wednesday for sure. Now, Juventus. It's Michael. Take us away, please. There's not much you can say.
There is not much
that you haven't said before.
I have come to the point where it's a little and it just so.
Was he on the touchline for that match?
No, he was upstairs. But
regardless,
2 years ago, I was like, oh, thank God he's back. We're gonna get some stability. Yeah. He's lost it, and it sucks for him is that he had the chance to get Real before Ancelotti, and he chose Juve. And Ancelotti goes to Real, wins Champions League. He's looking at what he could have, and
Real's not winning that with him.
Oh, I know, but in his mind, he's like, oh, I would have had a good enough team to possibly win.
Sure.
And I don't know where he goes after this now, if he gets fired. So it's split.
Leicester.
It's
all roads lead to Leicester.
He would take a job in Italy.
Absolutely, he's way too Italian.
He is way too. But yeah, it's come to that point. We have 1 winner our last 8 now. No, actually, it might be 9 with the Monza results. I think it was 1 and 7 before the Benfica, and now it's Monza. Man. Yeah,
that is atrocious.
And it's bad.
So when I was doing the episode by myself last week, I was talking about Juve and Allegri specifically, and then saying that I do admire, and you see it in every league really, not so much England in terms of remaining homegrown players, but especially managers. But mostly in Italy in terms of the managers being Italian. Now, I like it, I respect it. At the same time, Italy, especially, I want to see that league get back to where, excuse me,
Where it used to
where
be.
it used to be, and that also doesn't mean ship out all the Italian managers, and bring in a massive influx of foreign players, but there needs to be more foreign talent and retain foreign talent, like Rafael Leao. I don't want to see him leave. I'd love to see him at United, of course, but I don't want to see him leave Italy or Milan. And I don't. And when is it time that these Italian clubs, especially Juve, on their knees, like look
so graphic,
but like actually look elsewhere, like think more outside the box. Not even like a younger Italian manager as well.
We do have our.
Don't say Pirlo because that was already home. That was right there. It's like you weren't even thinking. You weren't thinking at all. What's the thought process here? Sorry was a callback. I didn't mind Sarri. I would have given Sarri more time.
Yeah.
Pirlo was insane. That was insanity. Maybe Leicester will pick up Pirlo, and then and then you go back to Allegri. And so you go back to Allegri. It's like, what are you guys doing? Like, look elsewhere, or go young, but like someone that has managerial experience. Like find the Italian Nagelsmann.
He just went to.
He went to Brighton.
Yeah,
he went to Brighton. Yes, he did. But it's just like I don't know. You know what? That's what I'm going to work on for the next episode is a list of young and upcoming managers because that's what you need to do.
Well, Sporting's manager.
Oh man, absolutely,
he's really good.
Absolutely. You know what? And that's why not.
Again, he wouldn't leave at this point to go to Juve.
No, manager? No, not right now.
It's. I think we got to take the best available right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have to take that approach. I don't even know. We have to look long term because the board is kind of split with Allegri because they give him a 4-year plan, and kind of like a safety blanket. But there's never really a true safety blanket when it comes to managers. But the dressing room split, the board split. I think they're leaning towards Allegri out, but it's going to cost 35 million to get rid of him. And
is that to bring in another manager to buy another team? It's 35 million euros to sack him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
it's going to cost us.
Wow. So, oh man, what a terrible.
If we were to do that,
extortionate.
We'd have to look internally and have our Primavera coach, who is really highly tutored, but they don't want to burn him out like they did Pirlo.
He's gassy, is he?
They don't want to just throw him into the fire, So it's
right.
It's hit and miss.
And so he's doing well.
Yeah, very well, and he's highly tutored, but he's not ready yet. Tutored.
They're sticking to that, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, asses afire.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. Pardon me. You know what you're doing. Okay. Well, yeah, but 35 million. That's madness. And this is his third year.
This will be his.
This
second.
is his third. This is his second.
Second.
Oh yeah, because Ronaldo was at the beginning of it, and that was it.
Second.
And you have 2 more years,
and
it's 35 no matter when.
Mm-hmm.
No matter when.
I think it would be because we'd have to pay him out this year, next year, and the year after.
Wild.
So Nedved wants him out though, but I also think that we've been not Juve for this long that you also have to start questioning the people above. Is there change needed there? Because they are
Take your time. It's all good. It's all right. Take your time.
I don't know. It's a long-term project that I'm willing to wait at this point, but I also can't.
Holy.
I can't go back. Like I've already accepted not seeing Champions League football the next year.
Yes, you should.
And
you absolutely should.
It might be 2
years. You are where I was last year.
I think it's worse.
Well, that's, buddy. Listen, man. That's just because things are looking somewhat green for United right now. You are where we were. That's what it is. And I'm not saying we're even get close to dragging ourselves out of this quagmire, but we have started. You're sinking still. You are sinking.
Yeah, you're on the up and up. We're
Yeah.
sinking, and you haven't even hit rock bottom yet.
No. The thing is with United though, you never know. Like it could go to shit. It could easily go to shit. Varane, Martinez get hurt. Many other things. We're on very thin ice, but you guys are.
We're breaking the ice.
No, it's been broken. Yeah.
We're sinking.
Yeah.
It's not good, but replacement wise, Zidane. But could we afford him? Would he want to come?
Exactly. Would he want to come? Like you really need to sell him the project and just show the investment. And
that's who I would offer to. Like obviously I would take Tuchel, but I think Zizou, his ties with Juve,
maybe
it's a different challenge. You know, there's still good enough players.
You'll find out with Zidane. That means you have to hold on to him until after the World Cup, though. Allegri, that is. Unless you do a Rangnick situation, you know, where you have someone that's like fully an inter. Where would Rangnick just to say this? Would Rangnick want to do that again? I mean, Juve's a mess too. That's the thing.
Juve's take on the Juve project.
Yes, and like honestly, I really want to see Rangnick get back in at a big club. I really do.
Stick it to Man U.
Absolutely, and be given that role again, and then it would be perfect. If I was you, I'd be pulling for that, and then having him move into your board, like he was supposed to do for us.
Yes.
You know,
getting into the Juve board is very.
And then that might be a draw for someone like Zidane. You will find out with Zidane though after the World Cup if France keep Deschamps.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll get to that later.
They think they're burned out
later down the road. Who France?
Yeah.
I mean, burnt out. I wouldn't say everyone's burnt out, but with a national club. But we'll see. I think it's going to be a rocky World Cup for France. I'm intrigued though. I'm very intrigued because I would love to see if Deschamps has the balls to, especially if Conte's not healthy, had to have Camavinga and Tchouaméni starting. But we'll start doing previews for like groups and stuff shortly. I would say maybe in a couple weeks we'll start prepping for that. Do you fire him right now?
Right now. I think we got to rip the Band-Aid off. So yeah.
I mean, you have Poch or Tuchel right there.
I know, but it's finding the interim. It's finding the plan B.
Well, that means you don't go for Poch or Tuchel.
No, I don't know. I would rather Tuchel over Poch.
How do you feel about the Rangnick thing?
I don't think he would. When it comes to ownership in the Serie A, it's like it stays Italian. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he's not Italian. He's German.
No, it's wild.
I don't think it would ever work.
Is Poch? Yeah, he's Argentinian. Is that
close enough?
Is that close enough?
No, but he's a manager. As long as it would have to be someone who actually can unlock Vlahovic or develop players, because I feel as though Vlahovic has regressed since coming.
I agree. He absolutely has.
And
Theo will still take that bet. Turn down $1,000 that Shabashai will have a better career than Vlahovic. Don't take it. He just keeps running his mouth.
About Vlahovic, but not putting the money where the mouth is.
That's right.
We can't have players regress, and it's like Chiesa coming back. Like I want him regressing too.
Mm-hmm.
Di Maria's short term, that's fine. But
Clown.
Even players like Locatelli is like, oh, he's a bench player now.
Yeah, he's faded. He's completely faded. And think about what he was doing that year as a swallow in the Euros.
I know.
He was integral.
And we pay good money for him.
Mm-hmm.
And Allegri in the recent interview, he's pretty much making excuses saying we don't have the players. It's like, look, PSG was losing 1-0 to Maccabi Haifa, and then it was the star players that just took over the game. And, we need players like that. So, A, the players that are in the team are taking offense to that.
No doubt.
And B, I saw he's like the dream midfielder. The midfield for us is Rabiot, Paredes, and Pogba. And Locatelli, the first one coming off the bench. And I'm like,
Locatelli really needs to be someone who's right in that squad.
Yes.
Getting consistent game time.
Rabiot.
Absolutely. Honestly, he's got to go. He's got to go now.
What, Locatelli?
No.
Allegri?
Allegri.
Yes. Yeah.
Done.
So we're both in agreement
yes.
that he should be gone.
I think Rodgers and Allegri both have to be now. But like right now. It's like, and I'd say you have until Wednesday to get this done. And get your ducks in a row. Speaking of shoddy management or managers, Gareth Southgate. Let's do Canada quickly. Anyone you want to keep an eye on? Let's pull up the Canada lineup. Two big friendlies. Qatar, who I think I think people are sleeping on, and I think
they're sleeping because
if I was a betting man,
obviously I'd be all over them.
No, taking Qatar
At the group stage.
Yeah, the group stage.
Yeah, if I was betting man, I might do that because it's a rigged World Cup.
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't this?
In that
this would be a shock.
The home. I mean, Korea South Korea made a run that was organic. Felt organic anyway. But this
felt organic. We were just young. We were young. That's why if we were how old we are now and watched that World Cup against Italy and Spain, Italy got robbed and Spain got robbed. In the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. So
Qatar. Love it. Love the bet. But anyway, so Qatar and Uruguay friendlies coming up for Team Canada, and they're good. Two really good tests. I'm really pleased with the scheduling that they pulled out here for the last international break for the World Cup. For me, the player I absolutely want to keep an eye on is Ismail Kone at Montreal. I watched him make his Canada debut. I think it was the Costa Rica draw, 1-1 when we were down, man, but we were dominating.
No, we lost. We lost.
Oh, we lost 1-0.
Yeah, Mark.
Yes, that's right. It was ridiculous, but we were dominating them. And it might have been El Salvador when we won. Anyway, whatever. It was on the road to qualification. He looked very good in that match. I haven't seen much from him since, but in that time, he's been linked to Norwich. He's been linked to a couple other teams in Europe. Yeah, I think Norwich was the main one. So yeah, that's definitely someone I want to see. Anyone for you?
We pretty much have our squad, right?
It is, right?
It's pretty much squad depth. Who's going to be one of our first subs?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say he is. I would say maybe he can start, but we'll see about that.
In the midfield, it's probably going to be K, Osorio, and Eustachio, right? 4-3-3. That's probably
K.
I really like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's really good.
It'd have to be Eustachio and Osorio.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I would throw in K as well.
Okay.
But other than that, maybe, hopefully this is a chance because Buchanan probably won't play. Hopefully not, because he is coming back from injury. We need some of Hoylett and Cavallini to maybe get some good games in before to know that they could be a reliable side.
Hutchison too, he's been injured. He's not even there. He's not even there because he's
injured. Yeah, actually, it is probably. But he's getting older. He'll be 39, right?
So old.
He might be our first sub.
Yes, sure.
Right?
And I think that's probably
sometimes
fair.
we even put him in defense. Sometimes.
Yes, we do.
But hopefully,
I don't mind. Honestly,
you don't mind him at defense?
Man, our center backs are shit though.
Going against Lukaku?
No, it sounds terrible. I really don't like our center backs. I'm not trying to be rude, but who is it? Is it Miller and who am I looking for here? Henry are mostly starting, right? No, it's one of the two, and then where is he?
Not Mo Miller.
Vittoria.
Oh, he's Steven. Yeah.
Our center backs, it's pretty dire. Our midfield kind of light,
We're front loaded.
Yes, absolutely. And what's too bad is that with Buchanan, I guess hopefully he's named to the squad, and hopefully he'll start playing now because he has been injured for at least a good month.
Yeah,
for Bruges. And Bruges have been actually very fine form after a rough start, and I hope it's not too hard for him to break into that team, especially with De Ketelaere gone. Noah Lang, I think, has been hurt too.
He's hurt as well. Yeah,
he's been hurt as well, but they've still been getting results
and
scoring. So I hope it's not. And Kyle Larin hasn't been getting a sniff.
Yes, I know.
Hasn't been getting a sniff.
He's healthy.
So that's not great. It would have been nice for those two to actually be working off of each other. It doesn't actually seem likely. I hope they train together heavily when they're in Bruges together now, because they're not going to be touching the field together, I don't think. I think Buchanan, maybe if he's coming back from injury, but it looks like Laren's just kind of been frozen out more or less.
Yeah, unfortunate. Because why did he leave Besiktas? Because they didn't run in Champions League or Europa League?
I'm not sure, but I was excited for him
to get
for Bruges. For Bruges, I'm a big Bruges supporter.
No, he needs to
like the poor man's Ajax. It's great.
The poor man's Atalanta.
Bruges, I'd be sure.
Because the colors.
Well, yeah, okay. I was saying but I'm saying more geographically.
No, sure.
Anyway, so something to look out there for. And let's get on to England. We'll wrap up with England. My goodness, like this man is absolutely ridiculous. I get that some of these defenders, they're wing backs, okay, and they're like very attack-minded defenders. But 28-man squad. Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just miscount there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 defenders.
Of the 28.
3 keepers.
So that's 15 just for your back line, pretty much.
Yeah.
And only taking 5 midfielders.
Right.
Which is probably the most important position.
And 2 of them being CDMs. Declan Rice especially. Phillips, pivot defender. Box to box.
Price is pretty much.
He's both box to box. They're all 8s and 6s except for Mason Mount.
Yeah.
And Mason Mount, he would use box to box as well.
Or even on the wing.
Yeah, he might shoehorn him out there, just because.
Very, very interesting. Like having no midfielders, pretty much. You're pretty much relying on a 5-3-2 and absorbing pressure and countering.
Why are you surprised?
But they have enough talent to be an attacking threat.
Mike, you're preaching to the choir. You're absolutely preaching to the choir. I mean, how many times? I like the laptop here. It's kind of like, it looks to me like it's obstructing, but it looks very professional.
And it's also hiding out the logo perfectly.
Yeah. But Mike, you're preaching to the choir, buddy. Like, he's been doing this for fucking years. Like, after the first World Cup, it's like, okay, whatever, you got him there. And then you can see in the build to that Euro what he was going to do. And it's the same shit.
They made it to the finals. Defense wins championships.
No, it doesn't. Really?
It does. Italy led in the goal every.
Italy
were known for defense. I think it's the best.
And then what happened? They banged in. They were banging the goals in. They had a great offensively. They had a great tournament. They had a great tournament.
For Italy,
yeah.
For Italy,
and they scored. They were probably
in the group stage.
Were they the highest scoring team in the tournament?
The highest scoring Italy team
was the highest scoring team in that tournament though. Regardless, they had to be up there. They banged them in the group stage.
Probably England.
Why? Because they beat Ukraine 4-1. What else did they do?
It was 4-0 or 4-1.
4-1. It was 4-0. Sorry, it was 4-0. You're right. 2 against Denmark.
They beat Germany 2-0. 2 against Denmark. I think they scored a few.
Group stage, they drew Scotland 0-0. What else did they do? Anyway, regardless, you saw it's the Ukraine match. It's absolutely the Ukraine match. It's fucking softball. Harry Maguire. No surprise. You know what? That's the thing. Harry Maguire does like Jordan Pickford. Actually, Pickford's having a good season.
Pickford's not in it.
He's injured.
Now he is, but
he was injured before.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
When did he get injured?
Did he play on the weekend?
No, Begovic did.
Yeah, exactly.
But I thought he played the game before.
He did, but he got injured
in that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the team was named like midweek last week. And yeah, man, it's and you know what, Lampard, tip of the cap, because defensively Everton have been sound this year. I'm sure Pickford's right up his own ass right now, like the likes of Dean Henderson. But you know, Harry Maguire will perform in that team because he's surrounded. He's completely covered. So yeah, he'll get his head on balls, he'll clear balls out, which he's good at. He's gonna be good at something.
Is he a shoe-in starter?
I think so.
Even if he keeps right on the bench?
I think so, because I mean, the system suits him. I don't think doesn't suit these attackers by any stretch.
No.
Did you Harry Kane and Sterling in the final against Italy? They barely touched the ball. You know, so but it suits. I mean, who do you think? Look at that. Look at those players. You know what? Ivan Toney, great call.
Yeah, I think so.
Tammy Abraham, great call. Tamori gets a call up. He made some good call ups. Are these players gonna get proper time? Tammy Abraham certainly not.
Tamori, I think will. Tammy maybe. I think these are last trial. This is the last trial.
No, I'm talking about in the World Cup though. I think Ivan Toney could play off of Kane.
He would. No, he made the World Cup squad. I don't think he's playing, unless if it's like they need him for a special talent. But as a central striker, I think I would still take Tammy over Toney.
But to play with Kane, complementary styles.
To play with Kane, I
Yeah,
don't think
with
Southgate
two.
would ever do
3-5-2.
that. I don't think he would ever do that.
3-5-2. That's what he plays like. Like, loves a 3-5-2. Maybe a 3-4-2-1, but not really.
He does 3-4-3 if that's the case. It's still like a 5.
It's it's like 7 at the back.
Yes, but it's like it's never like, I don't think he'd play 2 strikers.
No.
It doesn't sound like Southgate, because the wing backs he would still need like creative
support.
wingers.
Yeah, you need support from that.
He would need like a Mount or like Foden.
Sure.
Like, I don't think.
Well, yeah, I
don't like Tony and Kane. I don't think Southgate would ever do like
Fair.
that. That would surprise me if I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I would rather.
How are they going to get the ball down?
I'd rather Tammy Kane than Tony Kane.
If you're choosing it too.
Yeah. Me personally.
I mean, Tammy's been in great form. I'm just trying to think if they would really complement at all. But maybe neither would. Maybe you're right. It just won't work out regardless. Now, any omissions here?
Sancho and Rashford. Rashford's kind of hurt still, isn't he?
No, Rashford's been.
Oh, when he was growing, didn't he go?
Oh, yeah. He picked up a little something.
Yeah, so
he did.
I think
play against Sheriff.
I think that's, but like
Sancho, he hasn't been liking Sancho forever. Even when he was in great form at Dortmund, again going to that Euro Cup, barely used him, barely even touched the field.
I don't know.
Put him on for a penalty.
I would have included him. I would have obviously not taken Luke Shaw. There's clearly some sort of love for Shaw.
He does love his favorites. He absolutely loves his favorites, and that is often a downfall.
Is it just because he's the only left-footed one?
Well, I mean that is part of it too, though. It's like they have an abundance of right backs. They have like 10 very intriguing and / world-class right backs. Left back, they are very shy.
It's just him and
Chilwell.
And I would have taken Chilwell over Shaw.
Absolutely, but you still probably need 2. I can agree with bringing 2 of those. Do you shoehorn Trippier in like he did to start the tournament? He started the tournament against Croatia with Trippier on the left.
Yeah.
And then Shaw came in and he had a great tournament. Shaw's been playing. That's the thing. The Maguire thing, I get. Shaw, I also get because they're light there. They're light, and you do want a left footer. You do want a left footer.
I would still take Chilwell. I mean, maybe because of the injury, and he needs to see him play more.
No, Chilwell's there. He's there. He's right there.
Oh my goodness.
He's there.
He is there. Oh my goodness. I thought it was Shaw and not Chilwell. Okay.
No. So like having 2 is fine, but the thing is like when it comes down to this could be a tryout too. I mean,
see which one he picks.
Because honestly, if it were to stay the way it is right now, Shaw's not going to change. Malasia's got that on lock.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it on lock. He loves Shaw though. He's one of those favorites. He's one of those favorites that he's just not going to change. I'd be dropping Shaw and then starting Chilwell there and having Trippier as he can go left or right depending on what you need.
But who's starting on the right? Reece?
For me, yes.
But you think Trippier will start?
The thing is, you know what? This is what I'll say with Reece James, is that when it comes to what was happening with Tuchel, I thought Tuchel was really mismanaging him this year. I know they were light at the back, but I really don't think he should be getting shoehorned in at RCB.
No, he should be on the wing.
Yes, front. But with England, Reece defensively, I absolutely rate over Kyle Walker, and going forward, he's obviously just miles ahead for me, both ways. For Kyle Walker, now we'd like to have Kyle Walker at that RCB position, but for me, I'm starting James, and then I'm trying to get Arnold in there.
Really?
Yeah, I mean Arnold's not a great defender, but he has a defensive mentality, and so that like if you have him at the wingback position, it adds that little bit of defensive mindedness. But going forward, he's brilliant. So then you have a little more attacking prowess. It almost makes the 3-5-2 a little more palatable.
But then you're taking, I guess. I don't know. I think he's probably still going to go with the
Kyle Walker.
Yeah, and then it'll be a rotation at the right back.
The right wing back.
Yeah, right wing back. I think it'll be a rotation.
You're probably right. You're probably right. I would say you're 9. Like I'm with you 9%.
I would want
9%
when the World Cup comes that they don't always trust the Phillips Rice combination. They put Bellingham.
Bellingham has to start.
I think so too.
He has to. There's no. That would be so revolting if he were to not. Jude Bellingham is, for me, he's got to be Golden Boy this year. I think he's Golden Boy. How do you not start him?
Isn't Pedri win it?
What? No, coming up for this year.
Oh, for like this season coming out.
This season coming.
I think Pedri still.
Come on,
Pedri. Gavi too.
Pedri. What is this Gavi fascination? He wasn't even playing that much. How can you give it to Gavi?
What for this coming year? Like when's the award?
2023.
Like next year.
How much Gavi played?
He's playing. He's starting every game for Barca.
What about last season?
Oh, are you talking about like at the end of the year?
Yes, at
the end of the calendar year?
Yeah, the calendar year.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought you were talking about like at the end of the season.
No. I'm saying for the Golden Boy Award this year, it's going to happen in December, right? For me, it's Bellingham. This Gavi thing is too much. He wasn't playing that much last year. It's not enough. I see all these people saying Gavi. Come on.
But he's 18, 17?
Fine,
he's 17.
So what?
17.
How old is Bellingham?
19 now.
Okay, and he has the most Champions League goals for an Englishman before turning 20. It's true.
Sure.
Stats.
4? Is it 4?
4. It is 4. Anyway, but I agree. And Calvin Phillips has barely been playing.
Yeah, he shouldn't. Yeah,
but it shouldn't be the pairing anyway. Even Calvin Phillips was, still leads in putting the performances.
If you're going to play that 3-4-2, you should have enough confidence in the 3 and the 2 wing backs that you could play 2 box-to-box midfielders that are more creative that could help you going offensively, or even in a transition instead of always being set with those 7.
It's terrible. It's absolutely awful. Look what happened to Kane and Sterling in that final.
They got to a final though.
They barely touched the ball.
They got to a final.
Easy route. Easy fucking softball.
They can only play the people who are in front of them.
I know. You know what's wild? They had softball. They had a pretty softball route in the World Cup. What was it? Colombia, Sweden.
Yeah, Colombia, Sweden.
And then Croatia. And then you got a mishap in Germany.
It's still Germany.
I know.
Just say Germany. Just say Germany.
They were out of sorts. They're out of sorts. What? So what? Juve. What do you mean? Just say Juve? Juve shit.
Yeah, but it's still. When Porto beats us, they beat Juve. It's not like a mishap in Juve. No, Benfica. I'm talking about Porto. I'm talking about Lyon. I'm talking about all around the 16 defeats max.
Yeah. Ukraine, Denmark. Nice story. Italy. Run some quality. This time though, I think they got a softball in the quarters again. They have a really easy group.
USA.
Really easy.
Group of war. Sorry, group of war.
And then I believe, if they win it, which they probably will, I think they played runner-up of the Qatar group.
Yeah, would probably be Qatar. So that's maybe Qatar quarters.
It could be the
Qatar quarters.
Qatar to the quarters.
I think it could be.
Maybe.
They can't fix it after that, right? After that, the money runs out.
Sure. No.
It doesn't run out, but I'm saying it'd be doubled in price.
Maybe. Anyway, no James Madison. I think that's someone else that needs to,
I would have given him an audition.
Absolutely. Does that eliminate James Madison? He's having a great year.
I think it does.
Right? It would appear that eliminates James Madison. He's having a great year despite.
It doesn't eliminate Sancho. It doesn't eliminate Rashford. But I think for sure
James Madison. And that's the thing too. Is like, who are you calling on if you're trailing in a match to get into that midfield? Phil Foden can drop in. What if Phil Foden's starting? Like Phil Foden, out of those forwards, Abraham, Bowen, Foden, Grealish, Kane, Saka, Sterling, Tony. Foden is really, out of all of them, the guy who could drop into the midfield. Like who naturally would do it.
Yes.
You'd be asking Sterling to, you'd be asking Saka to, but it's not what they do. They're wingers. If Foden starts the match, which he should, and then you're trailing, they're so light creatively. You need to have a Madison there.
In the middle, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying start him, but I'm saying you need someone like that.
We'll see.
It's wild. It's wild.
Right. This is good for you, right? England not to win.
Yeah, well, my glorious reputation depends on it. So there we go.
What's your nightmare final? England who?
The only reason England, I don't even mind England. Like I never really actively cheer against them. I always like the players. They're more connected to me because I see them a lot. It's the league that I watch the most. It's just the way that they're run. And the reason why that would be a nightmare final for me is just because the way that he would set up and he would suck the life out of that game. He would hamstring the players, the talent that he has on hand. And it's like, that means I've been watching them every fucking round.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. There's a lot of players in that England squad are like, I'd be happy to see them win. I'd be happy to see them, show their colors, and flourish. But under him, it's just not gonna happen. It's just so fucking dull, and it's just such a waste. Such a waste. So England, and like realistically, like a realistic final. La 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 la.
For me, it's Argentina, Brazil.
That's what you want?
No, nightmare.
Why?
Nightmare.
Why?
Nightmare. I mean, either Messi or Neymar will win it over Ronaldo.
Right.
And whoever wins it will have a claim that they're better.
Neymar won't. I
think he might.
No, he won't.
Neymar might, because the Brazilians will love him forever.
The Brazilians, fine.
Yes,
that's
the world.
That's a bias. That's a biased country. That's fine.
The world.
No, they would have to win twice.
Twice? No.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
No.
He has to win twice, or he has to win. Okay, no. Honestly, it has for him to come close to that conversation between Messi and Ronaldo.
He's still like only 30.
It's just a World Cup, exactly.
He could still.
It's just one. It's just one World Cup.
100 more goals.
It's just one World Cup. I don't think he has the mentality for it. He doesn't have the mentality.
Olympics and a World Cup.
He does not have the mentality to do that. He doesn't.
I know.
He's looking great this year. Like the mentality's kicked in because he's been so bad for the last couple of years, and he's been getting rinsed.
Yeah.
And he's woken up. He's having a great season. Okay, he is. I'm not knocking him right now.
He's gonna get the stats playing with Messi and Neymar, or Messi and
Mbappe in France. Okay, but that is France too. That is also
that's
always a thing. That is always a thing. The Liga is always a take.
I'm just saying my nightmare.
And he's not.
That's the nightmare one for me.
Well, I just disagree. Fine, I see why you think, but I disagree with the whole Neymar thing. You'd have to win at least one World Cup, and I would say two more Champions League to be in that discussion at all. And he had to be integral as well. He can't just be there like injured half the time.
The only way I want to see Argentina in the finals is if they're facing Portugal. Then, that's the dream final.
I can't really think who I'd realistically not want to see in the final apart from England.
The Germany-England final?
Oh, I love that. Germany would walk them. Germany would walk
them. Would they? They
would.
This Germany? Are they still back to form yet?
No, they're coming. I don't think they're.
Or is it Spain, Argentina? How about Spain, Argentina?
See, Spain, England. I wouldn't. I think that's the one for me.
Oh, Spain, England.
Spain, England. Maybe even Argentina's no, because Argentina's Messi and stuff. There'd be so much around that. But as I've been saying, Argentina and Brazil have. Why for me? They're 1-2 for me in this tournament. The heat obviously is a big thing.
Yeah.
The South American success rate outside of Europe. And then both those teams defensively have in the last few years really tightened up a little bit. So I finally, especially for Argentina, it's that's actually a defense that I can respect. Who's it going to be? Is it Martinez? We're going on. We should just continue the discussion outside. Thank you. We went. I don't know how we got an hour out of that, but we did. We did. We love talking football. And Rom, take care.
That's a new one.